Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who taught us this truth. Shalom also to the Akim pushing this word in sincerity and in truth, and to the speckled bird across the four corners of the world, and to the few sisters who are listening. To you I say Shalom. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. I'm the brother Khadashah from the GMS Chicago camp. And as you can see, the title of the lesson, it says, Feed New Brothers with Milk. And the inspiration behind this lesson was really from a mistake, that I made last week at camp, And that mistake, I got rebuked by an elder, which I'm really thankful, man, that, that I got rebuked on that, man, because I've been meditating on this. I've been meditating on this all week, since Saturday. And I was just thinking about it, man. And it's not that it's eating me up, but it's more so I don't want to make that mistake again, because, that mistake was that I was dealing with a younger brother that is on the other side of the line. And this brother, he informed me that he's been studying for about 4 to 6 months, that he's been watching videos and that he's been taking notes and that he's been studying. And, from talking and speaking with that brother has been studying, man, because, the conversation, just the conversation of having with that brother, the things that were on his mind, the scriptures, all of that, you could tell that that brother was studying, man, but there's still, a lot for him to learn. And the mistake that I had made was basically I was trying to give him everything all at once, man. And something that you have to realize that when you deal with new brothers, man, you cannot give them the whole entire breakdown out of everything all at once, man. I was giving him the whole download basically right there in one sitting, man. And, that's the reason why I got rebuked, you see, because, dealing with younger brothers, man, they're not on the same skill or level that an older brother, is on. You see, when a young man, a new brother first comes through and he's on the other side of the line, hey, man, you got to build that brother up and build him up so that he's able to receive the heavier breakdowns of the scriptures, man. You see, you don't want to give him the whole breakdown all at once and then he starts to bug out, man. And that's the mistake that I was making. I was, instead of focusing on the milk, I was going into heavy topics with the brother. And, he had, it was his first time ever coming to camp. He said he's, that he basically stays in Indiana and that he's by himself over there, that, whatever. He probably don't know there's an Indiana camp, but, he said that he came from Indiana all the way to Chicago because he was watching the brothers. And that Saturday was his first day. And, I was giving him the whole breakdown on his first day. You know what I'm saying? He was, he's barely taking it all in, so that definitely was a mistake that I needed to get rebuked on, man. So the first scripture I want to start off with, in Salaki, if I'm being long-winded, just wanted to give a backstory, for the inspiration of this lesson. But nonetheless, it says Hebrews 5:12, for when the time for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. So when somebody first comes to this truth, man, they have to get taught all over again. You see? And when a brother first comes in, man, you have to realize that they're still a babe, you see, and they don't need strong meat. When you have a baby, right, you don't feed a baby a steak right off the rip, man. You're not going to give a baby a A5 Wagyu steak, whatever. You're not going to do that, man. That baby could choke on it and die. Nah, a baby needs to get nourished. He needs milk. And that's how you build new brothers up, man. And that's something that I've been meditating on, ever since Saturday, ever since I got rebuked, man. This is something I've been meditating on all week, man. It's really an art to building a brother up, man. You know, it's really an art to building a brother up. You can't just give him everything right off the rip. That could bug somebody out, man. I remember, hey, even some of the things that I understand now, I remember when I first received them from the elders, and I was like, whoa, that's deep, man. That's heavy. You see, and it's still heavy, man. But you got to realize that us being around elders, because this brother, he said that, that he's over there in Indiana and that, I'm pretty sure he's not aware that there's an Indiana camp, because now that I'm thinking about it, that there's an Indiana camp that he could probably, go to as well. But he decided to come to the Chicago camp. You see, and something about brothers that are by themselves as opposed to a brother that is part of a camp. Us brothers that are part of camps, we have the opportunity and the privilege to deal with elder brothers that have been doing this for years, man. So when we speak to elder brothers, look, man, we get a lot of nuggets through the spirit. So since we have the privilege to go to class, to fellowship with elders and so on and so forth, through the spirit, the elders always break down heavy things through the scriptures, man. And when you have to realize that those are nuggets through the spirit, man. The heavy things in the scriptures, the mysteries and the wisdom, those things more often than not could be too heavy for a newcomer, man. They might bug out. You see? So let's keep reading Hebrews 5:13. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. And this is something I was meditating on as well, man. I realized that, hey, that brother as a newcomer, he's not full of age. He's not, he hasn't had his senses exercised. He's still being built up through the spirit, man. You see? And I realized that, man, like, damn, I was basically, giving him too much, right? And it was his first day at camp. He's barely taking it all in. Like, I had to realize, meditating on this earlier, like, damn, I need to slow the fuck down, man. I need to chill out. I need to, calm down, because I sometimes I get excited about teaching and, breaking down the word and showing the scripture, because, being in this position, man, of being able to understand the scriptures and teach them and, have the ability to do that, is very exciting, man. It feels very, how do I say, like, it's a very humbling experience, and it's very beautiful to teach and to have the privilege to teach the word, man. So you get enthusiastic about teaching, but you have to realize, man, that sometimes you need to refocus the fire and calm it down and realize that you need to redirect it so that you really build that person up properly, man. You don't want to be giving a brother strong meat right off the rip, and then, he ends up with more questions than answers, man. You see? But I had another precept. It says, let me get it real quick. It's in Proverbs. It says, let me get it real quick. Goes into, let me see. This is Proverbs 25:16. It says, hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. And something that you don't want to do, man, is to feed a brother with so much honey that he starts to vomit it. You see? And something that you have to realize, that when a new brother comes in, man, he's still trying to make heads and tails out of the scriptures, man. He's still trying to figure things out. He still has a lot of questions. He still has, you know, a lot of things that he hasn't figured out in the scriptures. You see, so in order for him to receive the heavier mysteries in the scriptures, you know, he has to build that foundation first, man. The roots have to be set. You see, you can't, you know, before you build a house, you got to lay down the foundation, man, so that, you know, when anything comes, whatever, wind, earthquake, whatever, the house doesn't fall, man. If you just build a house, no foundation, that motherfucker gonna fall, man. So if you, you know, if you, you know, if you take in too much honey, man, you could vomit it. Trying to understand everything all at once, trying to give somebody, a new brother, everything all at once, hey, that could bug somebody out, man. And this is something I had to realize, like just meditating on the whole situation and just really just taking it in and just really, like, you know, trying to really taking in the rebuke and really understanding and really trying to, you know, put myself in that brother's shoes and understand, like, damn, bro, like, there really is an art to building a brother up, man. Like, you can't just, you know, you got to slow things down, you know. You don't want to bug somebody out, man. You don't want to do that. You see, and at the end of the day, you got to realize that eventually the brother, you know, that brother is going to get built up, man. If he is one of those men which the Lord wants, the Lord is going to give the increase, man. You know, you could be there all day trying to give somebody strong meat day in and day out. But if the Lord don't want to increase them, then they're never going to understand those things, man, that you're breaking down to them. So that's another thing that, you know, just meditating on the whole situation that I realized, like, damn, like, you know, I could have been there all day, but it's really the Lord that gives the increase. It says 1 Corinthians 3:6, I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase. See, it's the Lord that imparts that wisdom. It's the Lord that imparts that understanding, man. It's ultimately the Lord that imbues somebody with the wisdom and the understanding and the ability to break down these scriptures, man. That all comes with time. Someone, a newcomer, a new brother, right off the rip, you know, he's going to take time for the Lord to deal with him. You see, it's going to take time for wisdom to trust him. You know, when a brother is barely coming in and he, you know, he's a newcomer, this is what he's going through. It says right here, Sirach 4:17, it says, for at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways and bring fear and dread upon him and torment him with her discipline until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. So when a brother first comes in, the process that he's going through is basically wisdom is trying him, man. You see, wisdom is trying him and bringing that fear and dread upon him and tormenting him with that discipline. And you have to realize that as a newcomer, a brother, you know, he's dealing with that, man. And when you deal with that, look, man, you got to build the foundation first in order to get through that first hurdle, man. Trying to get through this, you know, get through this first. You got to build the brother up in order so that he's able to walk through this smoothly, man. What is a brother, you know, what is a brother going to do with the book of, you know, a breakdown of Revelation 20? And then, you know, he's going through this, you know, he has to build the foundation first, man. So that he knows how to maneuver. He knows the conduct. He knows the order within the camp. He knows how to move. He knows what to do, man. He knows how to actually do things. All right. Salaki. But hey, man, look, when a brother first comes in, this is what he's going through, man. All right. So you have to realize it's going to take time before he's able to understand, hey, anything deep, any of the mysteries is going to take time, man. It says, verse 18, then she will return the straight way unto him and comfort him and show him her secrets. And that's when the Lord is going to give the increase, man. When the Lord sees fit. You see, we're the ones that, you know, the brothers, they're the ones that plant, another brother waters. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the Lord that gives the increase, man. It's the Lord that, that, you know, that sees, all right, I could trust this man with the secrets. And that's when the Lord gives you wisdom, man. That's when the Lord gives you, you know, understanding. He allows you to see the deeper things in the scriptures, man. But look, all that comes with time. All of that comes with time, man. And you must be patient, man. All right? You know, right off the rip, a brother, you know, shouldn't be, you know, like, you know, brother should not be getting, you know, heavy meat right off the rip, man. That could really bug somebody out, man. You see? Hey, I remember in this camp right here in GMS Chicago, man, there used to be, you know, there used to be a guy that used to be part of camp, and he fell out. And one of his main problems was that he was always trying to be deep. And he was always trying to ask deep questions. And he was always trying to understand everything all at once. He was going from breakdown to breakdown. He was basically eating too much honey, man. And one of his biggest mistakes was that he never actually finished the roll. He never read the entirety of the scriptures, but he was constantly trying to understand the deeper things of the scriptures. He was constantly trying to understand the heavy breakdowns. He was basically trying to chew on strong meat, but he still didn't finish his milk. You see? And eventually, you know, he bugged out, man. He bugged out. You know, he thought he wanted to be equal with the elders. He thought he knew something over the elders. He got mad because they wouldn't let him speak, man. You know, and hey, look, man, guys like that, man, they bug out because they're trying to understand too much all at once, man. Everything. Look, man, you're not going to understand the whole book of Genesis right off the rip. You're not going to understand the whole book of Revelation right off the rip, man. I'm going to just tell you that right now. There's a lot of things that you're going to read and you're going to have a lot of questions, man. And you as a young brother, you got to ask those questions so older brothers could build you up. Don't make the mistake of trying to understand everything all at once. And or even in my part, don't make the mistake of trying to give a brother everything all at once. You see? That could really bug you the fuck out, man. It makes me think of that one scene that one scene in Indiana Jones when basically the lady asks him that she wants to see everything, and then the alien thing, whatever the crystal skull, you know, basically gives her the whole breakdown, and she starts to bug the fuck out, man. Yeah, look, man. Look, as I've been meditating on this, you know, the past couple of days and just thinking about the whole situation, man, that's a mistake I don't want to make again, man. Of trying to give a brother everything all at once. You don't want to make that mistake, man. You look, and then another thing is too, like, you know, it's exciting teaching this word and so on and so forth, but you got to calm down, man. Some things take time, you know, and you got to realize that newer brothers, it takes time for them to understand the heavier things in the scriptures. The Lord got to show them. You see? The Lord got to really show them, man. That's not going to come from you. You see, well, you know, the Lord is using you to push the word, but ultimately it's the Lord that gives the increase, man. All right? And if you're a newer brother and you know, if you lack wisdom, let me get you a scripture real quick. This is James 1:5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So if you lack wisdom, just ask the Most High, man. And eventually the Lord will give you the breakdown of whatever you're looking for, whatever question you got, any of that, man. But the first thing you want to do is make sure that you build the foundation, man. The foundation is always going to help you. You see? It says, matter of fact, look, what's it called? Having a strong foundation is going to help you ultimately to have longevity in this truth, you know, and ultimately it's, you know, What really matters, what's really going to give you longevity in this truth is if you're part of the elect, and Lord willing, we be part of that number, man. You see, Lord willing, we be part of that number, because that's what really matters, man. We have to, Lord willing, we be counted in that number, man. That's really what, but, if you, to put on as the elect, one of the things that you could do as a brother, right, is to what? To literally, Salaki, what the? Salaki, let me. Salakia. Damn, Salaki, now I lost my train of thought, but hey, man, let me just read the scripture over. It's James, back in James 1 and 5. It says, James 1 and 5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So ultimately, hey, if you lack wisdom, ask the Lord, man. If you're a new brother, so on and so forth, hey, the Lord, the Lord will give you that wisdom eventually, man. You just got to build that foundation, man. All right? You just got to build that foundation and put on as the elect and really just, study and make sure that, you're asking questions. And that ultimately, man, one thing that helped me to not bug out, ask bugged out questions and things like that, man. I remember that when I would read and I felt like the question was too deep or something, I remember I would just ask myself, like, does this have anything to do with salvation? And when I would run the question through my mind, then I'll start, seeing like, does this really have anything to do with salvation? I'll just be like, man, this doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, man, if the question doesn't really have anything to do with salvation, if the topic doesn't really have anything to do with salvation, then it doesn't really matter, man. It's good to know the heavier things in the scriptures and the deep revelations and all of that. But this is what this is what Paul said. This is 1 Corinthians 2 and 1. And thy brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua HaMashiach and him crucified. So, for a newer brother, man, let me just urge you and tell you, if it has nothing to do with Yahushua and him crucified, don't worry about it, man. Those deep topics and, the heavy things in the scriptures, man, don't worry about that right now, man. What you need to worry about is building the foundation first and making sure that you really understand what this ministry and what this work is about, man. We're exalting the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So we're literally exalting the names of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. And we're really pushing Yahushai, because all these other camps, they're not doing that. We're exalting the names of Yahweh and Yahushai, especially Yahushai, his son, man. All right? So, hey, look, if it has nothing to do with salvation, don't worry about that question, man. It'll get answered eventually. Eventually, it'll get answered, man. But Paul said, hey, look, Paul said, and Paul was a very learned man. He knew Greek, he knew Latin, he was going from place to place. He was a Pharisee of the Pharisees. He knew the law. He was very, very learned, man. Very, very learned. But he said that he determined not to. He said he determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua and him crucified, man. And that's mighty, because hey, this truth, man. One thing I'm gonna tell you right now is about the simplicity of Hamashiach, man. A lot of guys, they start to bug out because, they start asking deep-ass questions and woo-woo and blah-blah, and they're always trying to be deep all the time. And look, man, that shit is going to bug you out, and you're going to fall out if you start doing shit like that, man. All right? Hey, let me just get it. Think about the simplicity in Hamashiach, man. It says right here, 2 Corinthians 11 and 3, I'm going to end it off with this. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his Salakia. I'm going to start it over, 2 Corinthians 11:3. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach. And one thing that you could, like if you, because the mistake that I made, man, Tawari Bashim Yal that I had an elder there to rebuke me and to really set things in order, man. But if you make that mistake, man, you could really corrupt a new brother's mind from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach, man, trying to give him all these heavy things. You see? Hey, don't let your mind be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach, man. This truth is very simple, man. We're pushing the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and pushing the gospel, man, which is to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you speckled birds. All those other things, they're plus. They're a plus, man. It's a plus to be able to understand heavy things and nuggets that the elders are, give us. It's a privilege, and Tawari Bashim Yahushai for even giving us the ability to understand those deeper things. But if you're a new brother, man, just think about the simplicity that is in Hamashiach and in this truth and this ministry, man, and just build the foundation and just focus on that, man. Don't worry about all these heavy things, man. That'll come eventually, all right? So with that, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakudash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, Tars of Truth, Shalom, and Kwam Yasharallah.